Andrew Bogut was the first Australian to be selected in the #1 overall pick in the 2005 NBA draft when he was selected by the Milwaukee Bucks. An NBA trailblazer, Bogut won a championship with the Golden State Warriors in 2015 and represented Australia at 3 Olympics. He returned to Sydney to play for the Kings and continues to hold an ownership stake with the NBL club. In part 1 of a 2-part series with ABC Sport, Bogut reflects on the highs and lows of his career. So nice to see you. I was reflecting on a story of when I first met you, which would have been around 2004. You had been in the Boomers camp and I was told, you've got to interview that guy, he's going to be a big star. And fast forward, look at you now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything goes full circle. So I remember that time vividly, and it was my first Boomers camp. Still a young guy, didn't know anything about anything, and yeah, you circle back to how quickly time flies by.
The Milwaukee Bucks select Andrew Bogut from Australia.
You look back and reminisce a little bit, and it definitely flies by quickly.
And about a year or two after that camp, you went on to become the first overall draft pick in the 2005 NBA draft, the first Australian to be a top pick.
Yeah, for my journey, kind of everything happened really quickly. So after we saw each other before the Athens Olympics, went back for another year in college and then was playing NBA within 18 months. So pretty crazy, full circle. Went from relative unknown junior player that no one really knew about to a professional athlete, and then an Olympics at 19, and then playing in the NBA. Before I could even legally have a drink in the US, I was 20 years old. So I remember my teammates would go out. I wasn't even allowed in a bar at that time, so it was pretty interesting.
And Bogut on the finish.
How did you deal with all that being so young? Because the NBA is just such a global phenomenon.
Yeah, there were a lot of adjustments. It was moving to a new city. The weather was really different for me. It was minus 20, sometimes minus 10 degrees. Dealing with kind of how hectic the NBA schedule is. You're flying here, then you got a game, then you fly right after the game to the next city. Hotels at 2, 3 in the morning. Not much time at home, and if you're at home, it's a quick meal and then on to training. So it just made you really kind of respect how hard it is of an industry. We are obviously very well compensated, and there's a lot of perks to it, but once you're in it, it's a lot of time and effort and work to make sure you're healthy and you're fit and you're firing. So really enjoyed it. A lot of ups and downs and a lot of great stories.
You won an NBA championship with the Golden State Warriors. That would have to be one of the pinnacles of your career.
Azili!
This man right here.
Azili!
That was an unbelievable feeling. Something I'll remember forever. I still talk to all those guys.
The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions.
You also dealt with some debilitating injuries. How did you handle all that?
Yeah, the injuries are tough. Every athlete goes through them, whether a small sample size or a large. I probably had a large sample size, and I guess the frustrating thing for myself was a lot of the injuries were out of my control. They were car accident type injuries where it was high impact. One was falling off the rim, the other one was getting undercut by someone and breaking my ankles.
Andrew Bogut holding his left shin right above his ankle.
2 injuries that really kind of changed the course of my career. The way I played, my athleticism kind of went down a little bit. I had to find different ways to be productive, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, I got through 14 years of professional basketball with, probably 4 or 5 of those with debilitating injuries I was rehabbing from. So kind of proud of the fact that I didn't just give up, and I could have easily retired after 9 or 10 years, financially fine, all that kind of stuff, but wanted to grind out and retire on my own terms, and I feel like I did that towards the end of my career.
Yourself, what is it about the Kings that brings you to this club?
I signed with the Sydney Kings towards the end of my career when I was kind of shutting the door on America and moving my family and I back to Australia to kind of settle down to a normal life post-career, and I thought if I got a couple of good years left in me, I'll come and play. And
Andrew Bogut! Did he just do that?
Oh my goodness.
I negotiated a contract with the Sydney Kings, which had an option for ownership upon retirement. I took that up. I had 10% sitting on the table that I could have cashed out for immediately upon retirement or kept, and I decided to keep it and stay involved, and had a great journey so far.